you ever seen your boss's arrogance completely backfire? About 20 years ago, I was working as an office assistant for a small company. It wasn't glamorous, but I took the minimum wage job because my boss promised me something more. She told me she'd train me personally and that within a year I'd be promoted to one of the freelancers who actually made good money. The setup seemed straightforward. We took orders from clients, then assigned the work to freelancers. Whoever took the order became like a project manager, making sure deadlines were met and that the freelancer delivered on time. That's how it was explained to me from day one. But my boss, well, she was something else. She loved long, condescending speeches about how she was paying me to use my brain, usually followed by examples of how her brain worked so much better than ours. I was young and naive, so I kept my head down and played along. One Monday morning, our biggest corporate client had a huge project due at noon. My boss had personally taken it on. The problem? She wasn't in the office. The client started calling, getting nervous. I tried calling her mobile. No answer. I texted. Still nothing. Time was ticking, so I called her landline at home. Her husband answered, and I explained why it was urgent. Less than an hour before the deadline, she finally called me back, furious. According to her, I had created unnecessary stress at her house, and calling her at home was completely unprofessional. She told me in no uncertain terms, if she takes a task, it's her task. I was never to call or text her about deadlines again. If clients called, I was supposed to tell them she had everything under control. End of story. I apologized, repeated her instructions back to her word for word, and she seemed satisfied. She even gave me her favorite lecture again about using my brain. I nodded along, biting my tongue. A few weeks later, déjà vu. Another client order came in, and my boss decided to take it herself. The deadline was clear. I handed her everything and stepped back exactly as instructed. Except this time, the deadline landed while I was on vacation. I was hiking in the middle of nowhere with patchy cell service, enjoying my one real break from the office. My coworker called to say the client had phoned in to check on the project. I told her what we were supposed to say. The boss is handling it personally. Don't worry, she never misses a deadline. Then I shut my phone off to conserve battery. While I was hiking in peace, my boss completely forgot about the deadline. By the time she realized, it was already past due. She scrambled to finish the work, but she didn't even have the client's contact information. Everything was in the office, locked up for the night, and my phone was off. She had to drive to the office herself, dig through the order, and deliver the work late. The client wasn't impressed. After all, they'd been reassured multiple times that my boss herself was handling it. When I got back, the office was chaos. My boss screamed at me for not reminding her, for not calling, for not texting, for not magically anticipating her mistake. I calmly pointed out, why didn't I call you? Because you told me not to. Why didn't I remind you? Because you said I shouldn't. Why did I tell the client not to worry? Because those were your instructions. She fumed, but she couldn't deny it. I had followed her rules to the letter. She tried to blame me anyway, saying I hadn't given her the client's contact details. But I reminded her she always claimed she knew all the clients personally. And besides, the order was literally on the client's letterhead, with every piece of contact information printed on every page. That was the final blow. The look on her face when I pointed that out is burned into my memory. For once, she had no clever lecture, no ego-boosting rant, just silence. Of course, narcissists never accept blame. I was fired not long after, but honestly, I didn't care. Watching her choke on her own arrogance, even for a moment, was worth every bit of it. Malicious compliance for the win.